following the removal of the Director General, we've seen Nigeria's SEC appoint an interim stock exchange boss over on that end. It's a former top Deloitte accountant. Market reaction to all that played out yesterday. Were you able to gauge that kind of sentiment with activity being truncated because of a technical glitch?
Thank you, Alishia. We were able to gauge the reaction of investors in the market yesterday. And like you mentioned, there was a lot of technical issue on the floor, so we were unable to trade for the full trading hours. But comments that were gotten on the floor was actually more of confidence. They actually see it as a welcome development. SEC is stepping in to ensure that the investors' confidence is actually protected, and we feel that it's actually a good one. Today will give a good time for us to gauge market sentiment about the appointment of the forensic experts.
Have we seen any other detail emerge on out of that SEC in terms of the way forward and what this spells for management at the board? Because it wasn't only the DG being recused from her position. We know that the NSE's president has also been suspended.
Well, apart from the DG being suspended and the president, the other officials of the Nigerian Stock Exchange are still as they are. The forensic experts will be required to work with them. The SE, Securities and Exchange Commission has actually committed to carry out the plans that the NSA has committed to carry out since 2008. I don't see any significant changes in some of the plans that they have. So it's more like they're trying to see the end of these plans materializing. So we don't see a lot of changes coming on board.
In terms of activity at the bourse, have all of the technical glitches been resolved, and is it all systems go today at the NSE?
Well, hopefully we feel that everything has been resolved. At 9:30 today, we'll be able to ascertain if everything has been resolved. Trading is expected to resume normally at 9:30. So at that time, we'll be able to ascertain that. So
let's take a look at some of the activity you're anticipating to see on the local bourse as we progress through today's trading session and wrap this week up.
We feel that today we expect that a lot of investors will exercise some certain level of caution and try to see what would happen in the short term. In the long run, in the long term, we expect that there will be increased confidence in the market. Today, we feel that there will be a lot of caution in terms of pricing. We still feel mandates will come back in the market today because a lot of investors were unable to buy and sell what the mandates they've given to their brokers yesterday. So we feel that will continue today. Hopefully, the technical issues will be resolved and trading will return back to normal.
Well, we know that Stanbic IBTC within the banking arena has reported numbers this morning, a 1% dip in pre-tax profit to 7.3 billion naira in the first half of this year. Run us through some of the activity we're seeing on that counter so far. We know that the market still, though, has to digest those numbers before we see full reaction.
Yeah, I agree with you. The market needs to digest the figures. We feel that Stanbic IBTC has a lot of potential to grow in this business. They're looking at increasing their retail outlets by taking up another bank which has not been named. So we feel Stanbic IBTC is a name that should be looked out for, and we have a buy recommendation against it.
Of course, Stanbic, as you say, one of the players poised for activity in terms of merger and acquisition activity when it comes to Nigeria's banking scene, simply because it wants exposure to that retail segment. In the meantime, I know that you've had your eye on the cement industry, specifically Busola. Ashaka Cement, one of the players to have released results here for the first quarter and first half, seeming to be strong on the surface. Your interpretations of those numbers, earnings per share coming in at 46 kobo and 84 kobo respectively for those periods.
Yeah, Alishia, for us, Ashaka, it's a buy. We feel it has a lot of potential. Our target price on Ashaka is 26 naira 50 kobo, and the current market price is actually at a discount to that target market price. They've been able to reduce their energy cost by operating on the coal production energy source, which is actually at a full capacity right now. So we feel that Ashaka actually has a very good potential and the stock to look out for on the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
We're taking a look at these 2 quarters, though. It has been a tale of 2 quarters. Ashaka reporting Q1 revenue of -2% and first half revenue of 13%. So it's really been the second quarter that's picked things up here, driven by robust volumes, while it's spurred on quite a bit of bullish sentiment around the counter, as you've highlighted. Now, is sustainability of these kind of earnings a concern at all for the markets?
Yes, well, we feel that the figures can be sustained. Like I mentioned earlier, they've been able to reduce the energy cost, and we expect that this would continue, and it would impact on their earnings. If you look at the earnings potential, it actually shows the strongest in the last 5 years, and we feel that they were able to keep that up.
How does this player stack against the likes of Julius Berger, which we know is going to be a strong benefactor of government infrastructure spend in particular?
Well, we feel Julius Berger also, it's also a good stock to look out for. If you look at it, Julius Berger actually accounts for 85% of government contract. It actually has a good brand name. It also draws from technical expertise from its parent company, which is also one of the largest in the world. We also feel that, as long as the government keeps improving capital expenditure, we feel that Julius Berger would also continue to do that. Though there's a rule by the president asking for contracts that have been overinflated to be looked at. By and large, we don't expect that to actually affect Julius Berger too much.
Let's take a look now at some of the other sectors you've got your eye on at the moment, and where you're seeing interesting activity, Busola.
Well, for us, we're seeing interesting activities in Ashaka, like I mentioned earlier, in Owando and in Nigerian breweries.
Well, let's hone in then on Owando specifically. Within that oil and gas space, we know that it is a sector that's waiting for the finalization of the petroleum industry bill. Specifically, we've had the sector performing as quite a laggard over the recent weeks. To what extent is the market just simply holding back and waiting for that industry bill to be passed?
The market is actually waiting for it. Outside the industry bill, our own target price on Owando is over 100 naira. If you look at the price at which it's trading at on the floor, it's actually at a discount to that. A lot of their earnings and their valuation supports Owando, so we still take Owando as a buy.
Well, of course, we know that Owando will be a strong benefactor if that petroleum industry bill gets passed. In the meantime, the highest value of trades were seen in Nigerian breweries. It's been a strong performer during the course of this week. Run us through your sentiment around that count at the moment.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, Nigerian breweries is something that we have a good sentiment for. If you look at the counter, it's been trading largely and there's been a good demand for it. It's actually trading at a discount to our own target price in-house. So we actually have a buy recommendation against Nigerian breweries.
Well, we've been, Busola, through your buy recommendations and where you've got, bullish sentiment focused on at the moment. On the flip side of that, any particular stocks you'd be staying clear away from at the moment?
CCNN.
As simple as that. Let's go into some detail in terms of motivation there.
Well, we actually feel that the current market price is very close to the target price right now. So we feel that it's actually a sell, not a buy.